Hey guys, it's Charlene. Today I'm going to show you how I created these 3 different cards using the brand new fall release from Not Too Shabby shop. Pumpkins and spice and all things nice. Let's start. So I'm going to start by showing you the fall release. I don't have everything, but I have a lot of things. Here I have the Delicate Pumpkins Ephemera, beautiful blues and pinks. Then this nice pack of Fall is Coming Sparkle Enamel Dots to coordinate with everything. I have the I Love Fall standalone die set, lots of cute stuff. And then probably my favorite here, I've got the Pumpkin Patch Stencil. This is designed by Call Me Crafty Owl. The stamp set I'll be using is the Pretty Pumpkins stamp set. There are also coordinating dies with this. I love how beautiful those pumpkins are. And then last but not least, the gorgeous paper pad. This is the Delicate Pumpkins paper pad, and it has beautiful blues and pinks and goes perfectly with that ephemera I showed you earlier. There are 4 different repeating designs here. So you've got these nice kind of solid sheets, and then you have pretty pumpkin patterns, as well as some pretty pink and blue plaid. And you've got some pink and some blue glitter paper. Just lots of fun stuff in this paper pad. So let's go ahead and get started on our cards. For my first card, I'm going to start out with that gorgeous pumpkin patch stencil. I've put some repositionable spray on the back side of it and put it on top of some 110-pound Nina cover stock. Now what I'm doing here is I'm just using my mixed media spatula, and I'm using some paper glaze Luxe and Arctic Fox, and we're going to do a tone on tone stencil background here. So our paper is going to be white, our pumpkins are going to be white, but those pumpkins, they're going to look really awesome because they're going to be raised up. They're going to have a little bit of shine and sparkle to them because of the paper glaze Luxe, and they are going to create a gorgeous background for our stamped images. So once you get everything filled in and covered, you just kind of bring your spatula at a 30-degree angle or so and scrape off any of your excess. I like to use a pokey tool to kind of lift one edge of the stencil, and then I slowly peel it up. I do use that same pokey tool you can see there to sort of press down the center. So I've set that aside to dry. Now I'm going to stamp these 3 pumpkins from the Pretty Pumpkins stamp set. I'm stamping these out in some alcohol marker friendly ink because I'm going to be doing a little bit of Copic coloring with these. When I saw this stamp set, I thought it was gorgeous. I just like the flowers on there. I like the little vine going around that little short and squat pumpkin. I think it's really cute. I said earlier I was going to be doing Copic coloring. I actually misspoke. I am using my brand new Olo markers that I just received recently and I love. I bought these because I wanted to try them out after I had tried a sample. I just thought they blended so smoothly, and I am happy to report that my experience based on that one sample is true for all of these colors. You can see for this orange pumpkin, the colors are 2.2, 2.4, and 2.5 in orange. And then for the leaves, I'm going to be coming in here, I'm using G 1.7 and 1.8. I will tell you that the number designations are a lot easier to follow on the Olo markers. Also, they have a really handy color wheel with all of the markers designated on there. It's just really helpful. So for the roses, I used RV 0.2 and 0.4. For my blue pumpkin here, I'm using B 2.2 and B 2.4. And then you'll see for all of the stems on the pumpkins, I'm going to be using YO, which is yellow orange, 2.7. I'm using the same techniques that I use for my Copic, so nothing different here really. I'm coming in with the darkest color in the shaded areas, then I'm coming in with my mid-tone color, and then I'm coming in with my lightest color and then I'm coming back with my middle color. But they are blending so beautifully and smoothly. I'm really, really happy that I decided to go ahead and get these. Now for my pretty pink pumpkin here, I am using R5.1, 5.3, and 5.5. I really like this color combination. I think it's just this really nice tone of pink. And then again, I'm going to use the yellow orange 2.7 for the stem. And you can see, even though I have this sped up, it actually took me less time to color these than it normally takes me to color. And I think that's just because the colors blended so nicely. So if you want to take a screenshot of those numbers I used, you can do that there. I'm going to start trying to do that in videos where I just put a piece of paper with everything so that you can screenshot it if you need to. I cut everything out with the coordinating dies, and now I'm going to go ahead and stamp out my sentiment here, do some heat embossing. So you saw I put my anti-static powder tool down. Now I am stamping with some clear embossing ink here. And this stamp also comes from the Pretty Pumpkin stamp set. And then I'm going to heat emboss this in white using some Wow Opaque White Superfine Embossing Powder, which is my favorite white embossing powder of the moment. Anyway, it could change, you never know, but I love this embossing powder. And I just love the way white embossing looks on black cardstock. I'm doing it quite often lately, I find, just because I love how that white pops on that black background. So I went ahead and melted it with my heat gun, cut it out with the corresponding die, and now I am gluing together 3 altogether. So I've cut 2 extras out of cardstock, and then I'm stacking them up with glue before I put my top sentiment piece on there. This is really easy to do once you've done it a couple times, and it gives your sentiment so much added dimension. It looks great on the front of a card. I went ahead and cut down a piece of the pattern paper to 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches, so it's A2 sized, and I've just glued it to my card base. So now I'm bringing in that mixed media pumpkin piece with a tone on tone that we did at the beginning, and you can see I trimmed that so you can see the pattern paper border around the edges. Now I'm gluing my sentiment on there. I just had my pumpkins there for placement at first, but I'm going to glue the orange one in the very back so it's peeking out from behind the other 2. I'm going to glue the pink one as well. And then the blue one, I'm actually going to pop up. I have some adhesive foam squares on there on the back. They're pretty low profile though, just to give it a little bit of dimension. It essentially matches the height of the sentiment. And that is going to finish this first card off. I really love these colors, you guys. I mean, they're so non-traditional, right? You've got pink and blue and orange, and you would almost think that those kind of clash, but they don't. Oh, I did add in a few of those Fall is Coming sparkle enamel dots. So pretty. All right, for our second card, we're using some of the Delicate Pumpkins Ephemera that matches that paper pad. And you can see that there are so many beautiful pieces here. This is going to be a quick and simple pattern paper card. I used my Gina K Master Layouts 1. You can see on the left top over there, you've got the 2 rectangle dies that are larger. I used one of them to cut a matting layer, which is the light blue, and then I used the smaller inset one to cut the pattern paper. On the top right there are the 2 long thin rectangles that are in that same master layout set. For the matting layer, I actually cut it from that other piece of blue paper there that I used for the larger matting layer. And then I cut this pretty piece of plaid pink and blue paper for the inset part. Now, all that's left to do is put together the card, you guys. I mean, it's so simple to do this style of pattern paper card when you are using kind of a master layouts die set like that. I love it. So I went ahead and I put the background piece on there. Now I've got my tall, skinny rectangle. I'm just going to do that along the right-hand side. And then I've picked out this big, beautiful piece of ephemera here. Look at that wagon, you guys, with the pink and blue pumpkins. How sweet are those? For my sentiment, I'm using a stamp again from that Pretty Pumpkin stamp set. This time, however, I'm going to heat emboss it in black on white cardstock, and then I can cut it out with the coordinating die. So in the Pretty Pumpkins stamp set, there are 3 sentiments. They're all really good size, and then you have the 3 pumpkin stamps, and then there's also a little branch with leaves on it. The coordinating dies work with all of them, which is super nice because, as you know, I love being able to cut out my sentiments with a die. I think it just makes them look so finished and professional. So I'm popping up that beautiful ephemera piece there on the front of the card with that adhesive foam tape I added to the back. And then I added an adhesive foam square to the back of one of the butterfly pieces of ephemera. And I went ahead and put that on the card. Then I just need to glue my sentiment there on the top. Off camera, I did stack that up as well with a couple of pieces of extra cardstock. And then I'm going to add in a few of the blue sparkle enamel dots from that Fall is Coming set. For my third card, I'm going to come back in with that pumpkin patch stencil, and I'm going to be using some non-traditional colors again. I'm starting out here with some pink dye ink, and I'm just ink blending about the top third, a little bit past the top third. And now in the middle, I've got some yellow ink. And then at the bottom, I'm going to add some blue ink. So I'm sure you guys have guessed it by now. If you use pink, yellow, and blue, you can create your own rainbow, as you know, and that's what I'm going for here. So I came back in with the yellow and I overlapped it onto the blue in order to get my green pumpkins. And I overlapped it onto the pink pumpkins to get my orange pumpkins. Now that would have looked great as is, but I really wanted to tone down the white background. So I very lightly came back in with some blue, yellow, and pink ink again and just blended everything out. In the I Love Fall standalone die set, there are these couple of different pumpkin sizes that you can die cut. So I die cut out 2 of the pumpkins and I colored 1 pink and 1 orange. And the orange one, I again just used that same pink and yellow ink. And once that was dry, I came in with a white gel pen and I hand drew my own little pumpkin details onto these die cuts. I think it adds a lot to come in and add little details like this, especially if you're wanting to just color your dies and you want them to resemble a pumpkin a little bit more. It's really easy to do. You just come in and hand draw in those lines where they look like they should go. So once I have that done, I did the same thing off camera for the pink pumpkin. And then all I need to do is glue the little leaves on there. These are also die cuts. Now you could do those in green, but I thought it would look nice in white. So I'm gluing those on with 1 little dot of glue each, and then I can go ahead and put my card together. I went ahead and cut down that beautiful ink blended piece we did with the stencil, and I also cut out a black matting layer because that's going to tie in with the black die cut sentiment that I did. So I'm gluing that there, and then I can glue it to an A2 sized card base. It's going to leave a nice little white border all the way around. And you can see down there on my glass mat, I did cut out the eye, the heart, and then the fall words using dies that also come in that I Love Fall standalone die set. So I did that off camera. I also cut them out a couple times and layered them up with liquid glue just so that they will have a little bit more dimension. So I've got this white oval that I die cut using a die from my stash, and I have glued my pumpkins on the top of it, and then I'm just popping it up here with some foam tape. So I'm going to put it in the center of the card, and I decided to put that white oval back behind there just because I wanted the color of that stencil ink blended piece we did. I wanted it to be broken up from the pumpkins that we also ink blended. If you put the pumpkins directly on there, they would just get kind of lost. But that white oval helps them stay front and center and become the focal point for the card. To help me with centering, you can see I just folded back part of the release tape before I put that oval on the front of the card. Then I pressed down once I was happy, and then I could remove the rest of that release tape, and it's going to keep everything nice and centered and looking nice. So for the I love fall, or the I heart fall, I should say, I'm just gluing that over the front of those two pumpkins. Again, using some liquid adhesive. I'm using Gina K-Connect glue here. And this pretty much finishes off the card, but again, I am going to come back in with those gorgeous enamel dots from the Fall is Coming Sparkle Enamel Dot Set, those white ones there. Really happy with this card. I thought it was super fun and different, and you can see how different all three of these cards turned out here using pretty much the same products, the same collection here. I really like how they all turned out and how different they all are. All right, be sure to check the description box. I've got everything listed down there. Thanks to Not Too Shabby for sending me all these products. I hope you guys picked up some tips and tricks today. Please be sure to like and subscribe, as well as hit that notification bell so that I can continue bringing you more crafty content in the future. Until next time, happy crafting.